So that's what we're installing the amplifier into, or the subwoofer and amp into. This is a recently acquired car by me. Pretty happy with it. Just a nice clean little 1994 Porsche 968. What I've already installed is the head unit. I'll give you a bit of a look at that in a sec. The car did come with like a premium sound package, which I find to be quite good, but it's just missing that little bit of bass, if you like, and that's the whole idea of the subwoofer. Some of you may not be aware that I'm actually into my sports cars a little bit, as well as my four-wheel drives. I haven't already guessed, you know, some of the more vigilant people up there might have noticed there's a few bits and pieces lying around that indicate that. You might have seen the Porsche in the background. I've had a number of cars over the years, you know, from classic muscle cars to turbo Porsches, and now I've gone to something completely different, and that's a Porsche 968. The 968 is typically not the run-of-the-mill sort of sports car that most people would want to own or buy. I liked it because it was a little bit different. I was actually chasing a 944, but I've ended up with the 968. So, you know, that's probably a pretty good thing to end up with, in my opinion. I think it's pretty cool little car. It's got a 6-speed manual gearbox. It's, you know, overall a very nice, clean little car. So I'll give you... I think we all like a bit of an unboxing of new parts and bits and pieces. So yeah, obviously it's the Blaupunkt Active Subwoofer, 130 amp or A, 130A, 300 watt. It's the unit itself. It's actually quite heavy, something like 3.5 kilos, so it's a decent sort of a unit. On the back it's got a couple of plugs. That's the only wiring that goes in, so that's for the speaker input, and it's got a remote control, which I'll show you in a sec. Included in it is just your basic wiring, RCA inputs, power, and the plug that goes into the unit itself. Then you've got your blue switch wire, goes from your head unit to the subwoofer. And it's got a remote, so you don't have to lean down and buggerise around with all the different gain and bass boosts, etc. So that's all on a remote. I guess you could unplug that too if you didn't want that. Got some mounts. I'm probably going to mount it to maybe the back of the seat itself or under the seat, and a bit of a instruction manual. What it doesn't come with, however, is RCA connectors. So you're going to have to get some of those. I'm going to mount it underneath the front seat. So I've got a 2.74 meter RCA lead. So yeah, 300 watt. The actual unit itself from here to here, 72 mil. So that's going to fit underneath most seats, I would think. So main reason I got this unit is it's complete. So subwoofer, speaker, and the amp all in one device. So I'm not having to run speaker enclosures, and I want to keep it fairly stealthy and hidden underneath the seat. This is the head unit I ended up installing. I kind of like the look of this one. I spoke to a few mates of mine about what I should install, and the consensus is to try and keep it fairly retro. As it turns out, I'm really happy with this particular unit. As you can see, it's orange. It matches all the other gauges for the car. I have to turn that down because I'll probably get a copyright strike against me from YouTube. But like that temperature gauge, that's basically the same color, and it ties in with all the dash lights and everything as well. So super happy with that unit. Now what we'll do is we'll hook up the sub unit and go from there. Always with anything auto electrical, before you do anything, disconnect your battery and make sure it's not going to come across and contact that terminal again. Just get a bit of a rag and cover it up completely. So that's where the battery is in the 968. It's actually in the boot. So what I'm going to be doing is running those power cable from the battery. Obviously I'm going to run it, follow the factory loom all the way through to underneath this seat. As far as the mounting position, I think that's where it's going to be. It's on the passenger side behind the seat. It won't actually go under the seat, which is a little bit disappointing, but that particular location, the seat clears over the top of it, and that's all the way back. So I think that's where she's going to be. This is the beauty of keeping all your hardware to the same manufacturer. These two RCA outputs are for an active subwoofer. Already got the unit slid out. These are a super small unit, so it's just a matter of plugging it in the back with those RCA leads, and I'll run the blue trigger wire and we'll go from there. So as I said before, that's how it's ended up. It does tuck under that seat quite nicely, but as I said, it doesn't fit under the seat itself. I don't think I'd actually want it under the seat. The vibration from it's pretty pronounced, so it probably does belong in the passenger seat. Basically the wiring goes up, tucked it underneath the carpet, all the way back to the battery, and then I've run the rest of it under the seat. Remote just sits here next to the passenger seat, and then I've run the rest of the wiring up next to the tunnel. I don't know what sort of glue Porsche uses for their carpet glue, but I'm sure it's a structural member of the car. So I'll give you a bit of a demo now and see what you think. Basically, it's a fairly retro styled, original looking head unit that does all the modern day functions. It's got, instead of a tape player, it's got a couple of USB ports and a drive port there. Close that. I've managed to find some music that's not copyright, so just bear with me. I'll play it. Won't do it justice, but you'll get an idea anyway. There you go. Once again, thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more Porsche content, by all means let me know. If you don't, also let me know. I know that most of my viewers are new viewers. Very few of you subscribe, so if you want to support me in the channel, by all means, really appreciate it. At least give us a thumbs up, a comment, even better, or better still, subscribe. So yeah, hopefully you want to see some more Porsche content. If you do, as I said, let me know and I'll put some more content up. Maybe I'll do a bit of servicing on the car, or maybe some mods. I don't really think it needs many, but maybe a more in-depth walkthrough of the car, exactly what it's got, because it's got some pretty nice little bits on it. As far as the head unit, the Blaupunkt head unit and the active subwoofer, I'll put some links in the description for exactly what those models are. The head unit itself costs around about 600 odd Australian dollars, and the subwoofer or active amp, so like $250. Pick those up from Amazon and other places online, which you won't have much trouble finding those. So again, thanks for watching, and yeah, catch you on the next one.